1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, coming to you today with the classic bluegrass song Man of Constant Sorrow in the key of G. The song was originally recorded in the key of F, but I moved it up to the key of G to make it a little more beginner friendly. Usually in a jam session you'll see this in the key of G. It's a little more friendly for mandolins or fiddles or bass players, so we're just going to move it up to the key of G. And I've got two solos for this song. It's a pretty short solo, and we're going to work on playing the basic melody and then kind of adding some basic ornaments, so some basic slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, just some kind of bluegrass ways to spice up a basic melody. A lot of these bluesy licks and positions can be used in a lot of other songs as well, so this is a good lesson just for some general bluesy licks and techniques that you can use in tons of songs. I'm going to break down both solos note for note and then show you a bunch of backup I would do for the song. So how to do easy strumming, how to do some bass walks between the chords, I'll break that down as well. And if you're watching the preview of this lesson, you can head over to my website, MikeHeadingMusic.com, and grab the full-length lesson. You'll get access to watch all the videos, and you can download the tabs and the practice tracks. All right, here's Man of Constant Sorrow in the key of G. All right, let's start breaking down this beginner version of Man of Constant Sorrow in the key of G. So let me play the first 5 measures, and we'll start breaking it down. Here we go. Let's do that a few times. 1. One more time, real slow. 1. So we're going to start up on the open 3rd string on beat 2, and this is going to be our pickup to get into the solo. So we're going to play the open 3rd string, and for this song we're going to kind of work out of, it's almost like a G minor pentatonic scale, even though we're playing G major chords. So this is very common in kind of these bluesy bluegrass songs where we're playing minor sounding notes over major sounding chords, and that gives it a really cool sound. It's a little bit dissonant, so again we're going to be playing kind of some minor sounding notes over major sounding chords, and obviously Man of Constant Sorrow, so that's a pretty bluesy song, right? So using really happy sounding notes probably wouldn't fit this song perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of work out of this position. I would practice putting your first finger up on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and then your 3rd finger, your ring finger, is going to play these 3rd frets on the 4th string, 3rd string, 2nd string, and 1st string. So you're basically kind of working out of this position, and why I would use your 1st finger is basically as your anchor. So you're kind of using like that, and you're moving around. And one reason we're doing that is because our open 2nd string is our really happy B note. So again, in a happier song in the key of G, we might want to use that open 2nd string. It's a B natural note. In this case, we're going to use a B flat, so we're going to flatten that note. And we won't get too much into the theory, but basically, again, I'm using my 1st finger to kind of cover that string so I don't accidentally let that open 2nd string ring out. Okay? So that's the position I would start in, and then we're going to hit the open 3rd string, and then the 3rd fret on the 3rd string, and then up to that 1st fret 2nd string. And I'm playing 3 downstrokes in a row. Beat 1 is a rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'd recommend following the left and right hand fingerings below the tab. So the right hand is the pick direction, the staple looking symbols are downs, and the V's are ups. And then the numbers in the circles correspond to your left hand. So your 1 is your 1st finger, 2 is your middle finger, 3 is your ring finger, and 4 is your pinky. So again, we're going to use a lot of our index and ring finger for this song. So again, let's practice that. I'd count beat 1, so 1. And again, practice keeping your 1st finger down. So not too hard there. Let's do it a couple times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And using all downstrokes is going to help you not rush through that, so that's really important as well, because they're quarter notes. 2, 3, 4 is what we're playing there. 1. And then for measure 2, we're going to do a 1-3 hammer-on the second string, so your third finger is going to come up to the second string. I'm going to do a downstroke, and then hammer it on to change the pitch. So I'm hammering down my third finger. So here I'm changing the pitch. I'm not playing 2 notes. With my right hand, I'm playing 1 note. Very common in bluegrass. It's a basic hammer-on or rock music. All types of music use hammer-ons, really. Just a way to add more notes. And what I'd recommend is get a really solid first note. That's really important. The more reference note you have of the first note, the easier it will be to get that hammer-on to sound. And it takes a little practice and a little accuracy. You got to figure out how hard you got to hammer down. And if you're having trouble with that, you could take out the hammer-on and just play it as picked notes down up. But that hammer-on adds, it's kind of like it mimics a voice is what it's really doing, which kind of adds an extra level of complexity that can be really cool. So let's do that again. And then I'm going to play down up on that third fret, and then 2 downstrokes. So we have 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So I'm doing down, down, up, down, down. Remember, the hammer-on takes the place of the upstroke. So we have. I'm just going to loop measure 2 a few times. The other thing you want to practice there is not lifting your first finger up when you do that hammer-on, like that. Again, I'm kind of exaggerating it, obviously, but you need your first finger to be your anchor. It's also like your insurance policy. If you don't nail that hammer-on, then you still have something, whereas if I lift my finger up and I miss, then it just doesn't sound quite as good. So practice keeping your first finger down. If it's a huge stretch, you could use your pinky if you had to, but I'd recommend using your third finger. The last thing I'd practice is, once you hammer that down, practice playing the notes around it. So this will help you practice getting the correct wrist angle, because if you're back too much like this, for example, it's going to be hard to get those other strings to ring out. You need to be able to play those notes and have all those strings around it ring out. So that's just general guitar tips that can help you. So let's do measures. Let's do 1 and 2 together. So let's count beat 1. 1. One more time, 1. And the melody there is just really the third fret on the second string. If you think about it vocally, it's just one long note. So how do we mimic that on a guitar, right? It's not that interesting to just play one long note, like that. So what we're doing is we're filling it up with some picking. And the pickup notes in measure 1 are just kind of to get us into the solo. So let's do that one more time. 1. Now measure 3, keep this position down, play the third fret one more time. Take off your third finger, back to that first fret. Again, that's also why it's important to keep that down. And then we're going to do down, up, third fret, first fret. So we're going to go back to that position, and then down to the third fret, third string. And then into measure 4 is going to play the open third string. It'll kind of help you hear the end of the lick. So we have. Let's do that a few times. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then open. Okay, so let's do 2 and 3 together. We have. That's into the beginning of measure 4. And then measure 4, we're going to hit the open third string. You're going to move your third finger down to the 4th string and slide from 3 to 5. Same thing with your slides, get a solid first note. And then we're going to go up and play the open third string, down, up, down, up. So we have. let's loop that. That's almost like a banjo roll. Or the guitar equivalent of a banjo roll. So we're just filling up that measure again. Measure 4, the melody, it walks down of constant sorrow. And then in the song, if you were singing it vocally, this would just be a pause, right? So we're gonna fill it up with some picking. So what we're doing there is we're going to the 4th string, going up to the 5th fret, where if your guitar is in tune, that should be the same note, and we're sliding into it, and we're using the 3rd fret to give it that bluesy sound. Remember, the slide takes the place of a pick note, so it's not, you don't do a down up on the 4th string, it's a single downstroke, and then down ups on the 3rd string. So we have, and then for measure 5, we're going to hit the open 3rd string again, and then slide back into this position, 3rd fret, 2nd string, and then 1, 3, 2nd string, 3rd string, and then open 3rd string. Let's play that. It's probably easier to play than explain. So we have, let's do 4 and 5 together. We have, use those open 3rd strings at the end of measure 4 to get back down into position. So you have, so that's what we're doing there. And then measure 6,